Last time on MST, somebody complained that the quiz was too easy. So, this is it. You get a single question wrong on this quiz and you lose. And what you lose is a piece of your soul is gonna be sent to the Shadow Realm. And the only way for you to get that piece of soul back is to hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell. Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and today's ruling is mostly about everybody's favorite card, Mystic Mine. Today's video is sponsored by Factor 75. Factor helps you get ready-made meals right to your door. They're designed by dietitians to ensure that every meal is packed with science-backed nutritional quality. Now, personally, I think Factor saves me a ton of time, maybe like 10 hours a week from cooking, cleaning, and grocery runs. And you guys know how busy I am. I basically have 2 jobs here, running 16 hours a day just working. So Factor helps out a lot by cutting down the meal planning and prep time, and that's a lot of time saved. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, I wish I had Factor back in the day when I did keto, because they have keto options, they have calorie smart options, vegetarian and vegan. You can always find something to suit your dietary needs. And even now, I'm trying to be healthier by cutting back on fast food, which would have been my go-to if Factor didn't have the meal ready within 2 minutes. So if you want to save time and be healthy about it, use code POGMST120 for $120 off across 5 boxes at go.factor75.com. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. Mystic Mine, it is in this meta. You have to respect it. If you don't, you're gonna get decked out because it's an auto win con for anyone that does not have it out against it. It's just part of this game right now, and because it is part of this game, we have a couple of rulings that we want to talk about that's relevant to this meta, and you're probably going to experience it sometime in the near future, and you definitely don't want to be caught with your pants down with this one. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button as well, and let's get to it. Question number 1. Here is an easy warm-up. Don't say I don't go easy on you guys. Bagooska versus Mystic Mine. Player A has a defense position, Bagooska, on the field. The terribly tired tapir, alright? You guys know that Xyz monster. And player B decides to activate a Mystic Mine. And Mystic Mine is active on the field. Neither player wants to advance the game state because everything would get either flipped to defense position or nothing can activate. So, you know, they're in a kind of a standstill, come standby phase. Here's where the real meat is at. Player B tells player A, hey, your Bagooska's got to detach a material. Player A says, Mystic Mine is preventing me from activating the effect since I have to do this once per turn. So what's wrong with the scenario? You guys have 5 seconds. That's right, 5 seconds to solve this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is player A has to detach a material for that Bagooska. Bagooska's detaching effect is not an effect, it's a maintenance cost. If you can't detach, it will blow up. There's a lot of monsters with maintenance cost, and Bagooska is one of them. It's usually harder to tell within its card text what is a maintenance cost or not, but in this case it is a maintenance cost, and usually it doesn't come with any sort of punctuation that could be defined through the problem solving card text. That's usually one of the hints if something is leaning towards a maintenance cost. That can't always be confirmed because of course there's still some old school text lying around. Other monsters that do have maintenance costs, we have, say, the Kowakimerus revealed to show that has to be done as a maintenance cost. So yeah, even if under Mystic Mine, if you have your Kowakimeru Guardian on the field and you have no rocks to show, then your Kowakimeru Guardian is going to blow up. Similar case here. Now here's a funny scenario that ties into this particular thing that happened at locals, is that a friend of mine, who I will not name, told me that he and his opponent sat there for 20 turns because no one wanted to advance the game state, and because he said, yeah, that's an effect. I can't detach because of your Mystic Mine. No one wants to advance anything. And yeah, there you have it. Kind of a weird scenario because they're like, I don't want to be stuck under my own Mystic Mine, and the other guy's like, well, I don't want to blow up my own monster. So that's kind of what happened there. Kind of funny scenario. Kind of wish they asked me ahead of time what would happen, but anyways, that's not my problem. Sitting there for like 20 minutes, that's just too bad. So sad. Anyways, okay, in terms of difficulty, from 1 to 10, that was like a -2. That was easy mode, because if you know Bagooska, you should know this already. Now the real questions come right after. Ruling question number 2. Predaplant Dragostapelia versus ABC Dragon Buster. This scenario happens from time to time. If you're going to be playing against any ABC player, any ABC versus Despia, this is such a common scenario because Dragostapelia is so easy to make in this matchup. Regardless, here's the scenario. Game state wise, I am not the turn player, I'm the ABC player, and what I have on my side of the field is just an ABC Dragon Buster with a Predaplant counter attached to it, a Predator counter, I think that's what it's called. So the opposing side, there is a Predaplant Dragostapelia, and that's more or less it. I'm going to simplify the game state for you guys, no need to get into too much detail. So the turn player, the Despia player, proceeds to say the standby phase. And during the standby phase, I activate my ABC Dragon Buster, discarding a card targeting the Dragostapelia in attempt to banish said card. And then my opponent does, well, nothing since there's already a Predaplant counter. I choose to activate ABC Dragon Buster's second effect to tag out and summon back 3 Light Union monsters from my banish. So I target A, B, and C. And during resolution, my opponent's like, so yeah, they're all negated because you activated the effect with a Predaplant counter on it. So you get nothing and my monster stays alive. And my rebuttal is, my monster doesn't have any Predaplant counters. It's not in the field anymore. So then he attempts to argue that, hey, you activated a card effect while it did have a Predaplant counter, and that must count for something. At least you would not be able to banish my Dragostapelia. Sure, you can get your monster back. So what is correct in this scenario? You guys have 5 seconds. You guys have 5 seconds. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And the answer is ABCs are busted because a monster in the graveyard can't hold Predator counters. I'm going to read Dragostapelia to you guys just so you guys can get a bit of an understanding. Negate the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that have Predator counters. So basically anything in the graveyard won't have Predator counters, and this is something that checks during resolution. I think that's the better TLDR version of this, because think about it this way. Say I have a Fallen of Albaz on the field and you have a Dragostapelia. I summon Fallen of Albaz, I activate the effect, you chain your Dragostapelia, put a Predator counter on this card. Then during resolution, that's when my activated effect would be negated. Remember, it's only for activated effects. But in the case of the ABC here, it's kind of different because I activated while I had the Predator counter, but then I left the field, so there's nothing to check. So Dragostapelia's continuous effect is no longer applying to my ABC Dragon Buster, and therefore the Dragostapelia is going to be banished, and all 3 ABC pieces are going to be summoned back onto the field. It's just that simple, because ABCs are busted. Or rather, counters, they do not stay on the monster if they are removed from the field. How about that? Ruling question number 3. We're back to Mystic Mine. Here's the dumbed down scenario of double mandatory. On the turn player side, there is a Mystic Mine on the field and 1 monster. On the opposing side, there is no cards on the field except for 1 set card, which happens to be an emergency teleport. And so we proceed to the end phase, and the turn player says, and I pass back to you, hoping to keep that Mystic Mine alive. However, the phase does not advance forward as there is an activation of the emergency teleport, summoning out a Ghost Ogre onto the field. Okay, Ghost Ogre on board. Now the monster count is 1 and 1. And when Mystic Mine counts the field, and there is a 1 and 1, basically equal numbers of monsters on both sides of the field, the Mystic Mine will basically self-destruct. It will attempt to trigger and destroy itself. So the non-turn player says, now that we have matching monsters, hey, you gotta blow up your Mystic Mine. The turn player says, standby phase and end phase triggers don't exactly work like this. They don't chain, so I don't have to do anything. I can just pass back to you, and you have to banish your Ghost Ogre because it was summoned through emergency teleport, and therefore I'll be able to keep my card anyway. And player B responds with, I don't have to do anything. Just like you don't have to activate your triggers, I don't have to resolve my end phase effects either until I deem it necessary. I get to choose how I resolve my effects after all as well. So it's going to pass back to you. So what are you going to do about it? So players are here passing back and forth, not willing to advance the game state. However, this is not legal. So what is the proper course of resolution? You guys have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so moving on. The answer is simple, guys. Since neither player wants to advance the game state and both players are trying to pass priority to each other, well, the game state is wrecked. I'm just kidding. It's not wrecked. If we call a judge over, what's going to happen is he's basically going to tell the turn player to resolve one of their mandatory effects first. Since both players are stuck in a game state where there are mandatory effects on both sides, remember that during the standby phase and end phase, trigger effects do not stack and chain on top of each other. They are completely separate, and even if you have lingering effects, you kind of choose which one you get to go for your own effects. Or you can choose to pass priority for your opponent to activate and resolve their side first. It's true. But in the case where both players pass priority, you have mandatory stuff to resolve, then the turn player can no longer pass, and they'll have to resolve something or activate something else to change up the game state where the mandatory effect or whatever effect that's lingering can no longer be applied. And in this case, this means that the Mystic Mine will attempt to activate and blow itself up, which it probably will, and then it'll pass back to the opponent, which has the last remaining mandatory resolving effect, which is the emergency teleport, banishing the Ghost Ogre off of the field. So in a simplified game state, that's probably what's going to happen. That's going to be blow up the Mystic Mine and the Ghost Ogre gets rid of itself. But there is the cheese. I hate to tell you guys, but I've seen people do this, and I'm telling you this because you don't want to get caught in this. So the cheese basically is that the turn player takes control of all the effects. They're gonna go, oh, end phase, I'm gonna go with your E-Tele banishing first, and they're gonna give you some stupid reason saying like, oh, because yours is a lingering effect and mine needs to activate, all the lingering stuff goes first. They'll just make up some stupid rule to make you resolve your effect first, and you don't have to do that. You can pass priority. You don't have to like resolve your stuff first compared to your opponent. So that is the cheese. They'll sound super confident about it. So when in doubt, just call a judge, guys. Just don't get screwed over, especially when you're already stuck under a Mystic Mine. I'm pretty sure if day was bad enough, next thing you need is someone dictating how your cards work. Yeah, so there's that. So did you guys get them all, or did you lose a piece of your soul and it got sent to the Shadow Realm? Very delicious. But if you want it back, I'd be happy to give it back to you guys, especially if you guys hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the sponsors of today's video, Factor 75. And if that's all I got for this video, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, ding notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.